Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CWL Anaheim Open. Joining me for this segment, of course, Chance, and we still have TP and Merc still with me on the studio as well. But up next on main stage, it's going to be Rise versus Lethal. And Chance, I want to kick this conversation off with you. Does Lethal have a chance here, or is Rise kind of just back on par?
I would say yes. Rise, their shining point has definitely been the search and destroy. If they can keep that up, they're obviously going to be in a great spot. But these open bracket teams, we've seen a lot of life out of them for the search and destroy. They just have not been able to close out pretty much at all. But again, if they can go toe-to-toe even in any of the respawns, if their search and destroy is there, they can take him down. Still though, advantage, you definitely got to give your eyes.
I mean, here's a look at the map set for the series. A Retail, Hardpoint, Crusher, Search, Throwback, Uplink if it goes further, Breakout, Hardpoint, and a Retail, Search and Destroy if it does go the distance to a Game 5. TP, looking at those maps, I mean, do they benefit Rise a ton here?
It's really tough to say when it's a kind of an unknown matchup going against a Lethal, but overall, we have to note that Rise really has to fight for that three-way tie scenario, so they need to focus on this map count as much as possible. They need to get this 3-0 if there is any sort of chance of them coming out a favorable situation in the three-way tie. So I'm looking for them to take it probably 3-0, 3-1.
Okay, well, I believe the series about to get underway on the main stage. Puckett and Courage will be your casters for Rise versus Lethal.
We opened the show yesterday, and we're bringing the end to pool play right now. This is Lethal Gaming, who is at the bottom of their group. They came from the open bracket, but they haven't had any success. But there's a lot on the line here for Rise Nation as well. They're playing for map count overall in their group. They think they're going to come out third right now, but a 3-0, that's going to give them some confidence going in later in the tournament.
Absolutely. Neither of these teams going to be out of it here, even if you do finish in the lower half of that pool. You'll just start championship losers bracket. Still more open bracket talent coming on through from that losers bracket side as well. So much Call of Duty still to be played. After this, we'll kick off prime time as well with championship winners bracket round 1 matches. So I know a lot of people are getting hyped for those, but as Chris said, we've got to end pool play here. This will be our, I think Felony almost just fell out of his chair.
Watch that DX Racer, buddy.
As his teammates now look over in worry, but no, it's going to be a great one here between Rise Nation and Lethal. Lethal trying to get something going as they've struggled so far in this pool.
Felony almost falling over before this match even begins. That's what Lethal kind of needs, I'll be honest. Talking to Juju, that man right there. I asked him, how's the squad playing? He's like, in the open bracket, we were doing great. Today, though, it's been rough. They haven't had any good series. He said we had a few good maps, but overall, we're just underperforming to our standards.
One of those examples of a few good maps was when they faced Cloud9 in this pool. They won, I believe, 250 to 133 in Breakout Hardpoint. They were in full command. When they got set up, they were great. But then in Search and Destroy, as they started to get flustered, I was kind of watching with some of our analysts because we wanted to see a little bit about him. We hadn't heard too much about him, especially like Human Jesus. How does he play? Juju being there. They had some questionable challenges. They were playing very individually, and it came back to bite them in that game. They had an early lead. Cloud9 started to grab some momentum, and they ripped that map away from them. Either way, though, they're facing a Rise Nation team that has had a fair share of ups and downs this year so far, Chris. They're trying to turn things around, though, here at Anaheim.
Now, Lethal Gaming, this is a squad you may be familiar with. We talked about BZ back when he played with Lethal at COD Champs. He was sitting alongside the guys that are on the stage right now, Juju and Hate. The other duo on this team came from SDDX back at Paris as well as Atlanta. That's Human Jesus and Clink. So 2 sets of duos forming the squad for this weekend, and they're looking to pull off an upset over the 3rd highest seeded team in this pool. Rise Nation, though, they showed what they were capable of last night with a big win over Splice, reminding everyone that this is a squad that is fighting for their spot in the top 8 on the globe.
I can hear the crowd getting behind these teams right now. It's Rise Nation and Lethal in our best of 5. This is it for pool play. Who will come out on top? And already Looney with an interesting weapon choice we're seeing right here, Chris.
Looney's going to get weird with the HVR, it seems.
Okay.
How long is that going to stay in his hands? I think that's going to be a question that will be answered after about 2 deaths. Yeah,
here we go. Looney probably going to be the one playing from inside this hotel hallway area. Some of the closer range gunfights, especially near top patio. And I like this. Let's swap over to where the real action is. It's Felony getting first blooded there by Hate, as Looney's still trying to get this flank going.
The hard point out on the bridge. It's pretty difficult to defend, knowing how many different angles your opponents can hit you with. But Rise, it's a slow push. They're all grouping up, trying to work together. A player went wall run, and Juju's just going to shut it down with the ERAD. Hate with the MV4 picks up the double, and this is 16 points in scoring now for Lethal Gaming.
Where are the grenades right now from Rise Nation? Both the van and the blue car on the top bridge. still intact. Typically, that's a free way to kill those players out of that cover. Instead, not going to happen here quite yet. Hate, though, what a start from him. 5-0. Just 1 kill off those Scorchers.
Yeah, even an assist is going to unlock that. Of course, working for the bombardment will be key later in this game. Juju is going to clean up the kills, so Scorchers are unlocked. 50 points, so 2 assists or a single kill will get him fully streaked out now.
What a start, and this is exactly what Lethal Gaming need, Chris. A team that's 1-9, I believe, overall in maps so far in pool play. You need great individual performances. Unfortunately, right there, falls just short of that final kill. As Rise Nation now are in command, and you're going to watch those red arrows in your minimap begin to push towards that left side. They want the high side spawns for this next Cathedral Hill. That'll happen in just 37 seconds.
Now, out of all the casters, I think I'm the biggest Rise Nation fan. I've always loved this squad. I like the fact that they're staying together since the very start of this game. Looney, the captain, a lot of people used to kind of hate on his game. He showed what he was capable of against Splice last night, one of the top performers. But Felony is going to be the star for me throughout this series. Talking to him about their matchup against Enigma 6, he was so frustrated that they threw away the #1 seed in their group. He dropped 42 kills. They outslayed their opponents, but Enigma 6 still got the win in the respawns. Today, they have to be more objective-minded, focused, and if you're slaying like the way Looney is right now, things are going to go your way.
What's funny is, not even slaying that big time right there. That was only 3 kills in this game. Smart play by Looney, though. What he does right there for everybody at home, he fell back out of the hill for a second. He let the player from the side of Lethal push in, and then he got not only the assist, but retook the hard point, giving him that extra score. So only with, I believe, 2 kills on that entire streak.
Yep.
But now he's got all 3 score streaks to use. A heads-up play from him, showing off how he's a veteran in competitive Call of Duty.
Those kills were defense. Big plays from Looney will keep him streaked out. That will match the streaks that Hate unlocked earlier. But Hate, he never had the bombardment, and Looney is going to find him with the Trinity Rocket. The double kill opens things up at the Cathedral. Rise, they lost the fight at the bridge, but this is where you start to blow out your opponents. This is where you can run away with the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see right now on the minimap, Vicento push this lower street side, and they try to maybe flood with this bombardment score streak. Doesn't look like that's going to happen yet. Maybe they'll just go gun up to start things off. And when you've got 2 players on the side of Lethal Gaming, a combined 3 and 15, I don't blame Rise Nation for playing this way.
Vicento, of course, is going to be that arrow number 6 on your screen. Just like Jack called it, though, the bombardment will be called in by Looney. Hate's going to get picked. Felony finds him. And now you see Felony open up a second kill. Rise is trying to flood through. It's only 1 player left alive, and Aqua is going to make quick work of Juju. Hate back into the action. They're trying to flood back in, and the Scorchers should be able to deal with them.
And these are why score streaks are so important. It's saving Rise Nation and some of these awkward engagements you saw right there. Because the member of Lethal Gaming stayed alive just long enough, Aqua wasn't able to fall back and watch out for the push on scaffolding, and because of that, there's still a clear lane for Lethal to try to contest this hill, but it's Rise Nation chasing together 3 kills. Chris, look at the scoreboard, every player on a streak.
Yeah, Felony's biggest streak here is a 4 right now, so he's going to be working on score streaks as well. Aqua topping the leaderboard with 11 kills in the lobby. That's the same thing as Juju, but you add up all of Juju's teammates, well, you got 3 kills from Clink and Human Jesus. Hate is adding his 9th kill to the leaderboard. You need more, though, out of 2 of your teammates. They are simply not on this map.
Chris, Rise Nation are now outslaying by 19, now 20 kills in this game, and we're not even through the first rotation. This has been the recurring theme so far for Lethal Gaming in these pools. I'm just going to go outright and say it. It's a better team versus a worse team in this matchup. Simple as that. Rise Nation showing off why they're one of the stronger teams in North America.
This is kind of like Optic's last matchup. You know you're coming in as the favorite. You don't want to let your fans down. You don't want to show any weaknesses in your own game. And this is really where you can build a lot of confidence. You can generate a lot of positive momentum going into the later half of a big Saturday. Felony continues to impress. Just like Krim, he's on an 8 streak, and he's about to unlock that Warden if he gets 1 more kill.
And this is so smart what he's doing right here. He's taking the longest route possible. He's going to sneak right behind this player. Doesn't get much easier than that. It's time for the Warden to come into play. Hopefully, for Lethal Gaming's sake, they have blind eye classes ready to go, or else this one is looking like a 100-point club game.
Yeah, that blind eye basically negates the Warden at any moment. But
there you go. Look, Clink's already got it. It's that eye symbol. bottom of your map or bottom of your screen with the swipe right through it, making sure that they cannot be killed by that aerial score streak.
Juju's still running the blast shield, so he hasn't died yet. When he does die, expect him to change over. Shout out though to Brian State, our observer, unlocking that feature and showing you everything that these players are running right now. Facento on your screen trying to stay alive. There's a two-man push coming now from this Lethal Gaming squad. Felony's gonna find a kill on Hate with the Trinity Rockets. Looney is there to support, and Looney with the double kill, make it triple kill, is just gonna run through Lethal Gaming, and Rise should be up over 200 points as this hill rotates.
Yeah, they're just shy now of plus 30 overall. The slaying difference shows in the scoreboard as well. Every time we go to Felony, it seems like the man's just not missing. 18 and 8, almost with the 19th there. Even with the boys of Lethal trying to rotate, it's just these one-on-one engagements that just don't go their way, and it adds up over time.
You got a 1.5 KD coming out of Aqua. Felony, a 2.0 double positive. And look out, Looney, 17 and 8. All three players dropping massive numbers against Lethal. You have Clink and Human Jesus held to less than 10 kills combined on a second round of rotations.
That I don't know what else to say other than that is not good. That definitely you don't want to do.
I could do that, Jack. I could probably get 5 kills up to this point.
Actually, we see a lot of crazy things, mainly Maven, but that one I truly do believe, Chris, has it's a 130-second difference. At this point, it's just a countdown to when the pain is done. Even the split spawns here. Human Jesus spawns at the new hill in the top left of the map, but the rest of his team is nowhere near it. Rise Nation want to end it here at Cathedral. It's 229 to 86.
And it's got to be so frustrating for a guy like Human Jesus. He's pre-aiming the entry. Felony just peeks his head around, doesn't miss a single bullet with that NV4, melts him in just 4 shots. Aqua now on your screen, going for the wall run, picks up Hate in transition. Meanwhile, the pinch is coming from the center. Felony is sitting back at this Cathedral, and there you go. Scoring from Graves. This game is over. 250 to just 86.
A 35 kill difference kind of sums that one up there. And look at Facento. I think he's realizing just the difference he saw right there as well. Rough right there. If you're a Lethal Gaming fan, that was the most one-sided map I think I've seen so far this weekend.
Sorry, that look of disgust was just wondering what happened. How do you lose 2 teammates in that series if you're Lethal Gaming? Because the other 2, they were pulling their weight. Juju, I have to give him props. Despite having very little support from his teammates, he was getting the job done, and early on, he was doing it with the E-Red. That's just a submachine gunner who is getting up in the face of Rise Nation and winning one-on-one.
Yeah, and it doesn't really work too well, though, on a map like Retaliation, right? You can't rely on him to take over. It's not Scorch. It's not a Throwback Hardpoint. It's Retaliation. It's an AR map. And right there, Felony was just better than the side of Lethal. Thankfully for Lethal, though, a little bit of a different game mode coming up next. It's Crusher, Search, and Destroy. Some sniper play could come into this, but either way, Rise, they're cooking right now with that first map victory.
Rise Nation, this is a squad that I always like to think of as one of the best at Search and Destroy. Watching them back in the group stages, yeah, they fell to phase, they kind of choked their ability to get into the playoffs, but throughout that, I was so impressed by their patience and just the strategies that they employ in Search and Destroy. When you look across the stage here at this Lethal Gaming squad, do they have the firepower? Do they have the strats maybe to catch a pro team off guard?
I don't think so. Obviously, I haven't seen too much of these guys on the main stage. This is the first time I've really seen some of these players up here, but they have talent. They got here for a reason. They just need to show it to the thousands watching right now. Here's your box score for map 1, 44-0 on Hallway. Obviously stands out the most, but it's a win on every single hill for Rise Nation from bridge all the way across.
Game number 1 is in the books. Lethal has to just forget what happened, ignore the beating, come back fresh, and win some early rounds of Search and Destroy. There's a look at Hate sitting next to Clink. Clink there in seat number 2, as well as Human Jesus at the far end of the stage. Teammates back from STDX. In that matchup, in that former team, I really like to watch just the speed of those 2 guys. They played on the Delta stream a few times. We showed their highlights in the past. You got to play fast, but Rise Nation, this is a team that can play patient, switch up the tempo at any moment, and if you're not checking every corner, you're going to find a sneaky Facento or a guy like Aqua catching you off guard with an NV4.
And I'm wondering if we see any more wacky weapons come out from the side of Rise Nation. We saw the HVR from Looney for a second. Maybe trying to change the meta. Who knows as this weekend goes on? We might see all sorts of things as we move closer and closer to champs. Either way, though, heading into game 2, if you're on the side of Lethal, you said you got to put that one behind you. Refocus now over to Crusher, Search and Destroy, because we have some talented players on Rise Nation, but these are the people showing up big time so far this weekend. And there's Looney in the 4th place spot in overall SNDKD.
His double digits against Splice last night, he took his game to another level. It was simply incredible what he was doing in that Search and Destroy. He finishes with a 1.48 overall, though, up to this point in the groups. He's involved in the plants, but really for me, it was his first bloods. He's playing pretty aggressive and he's winning those early fights. He was constantly in a position to trade out. If Vicento dies, Looney was there to pick up the scraps.
And the haircut's looking fresh right now, which I think is making a big difference too. Either way though, you saw on your scoreboard of that Uplink leaderboard formal, not quite the, 3.86 he had at the end of day 1. Finally cooled down a little bit, coming back down to earth. But I want to talk about Mox on there too, for Bittersweet, 2nd place spot. A big reason why that team finds themselves undefeated in the pools. We're going to Crusher, Search and Destroy though, at Lethal Gaming fans. You need to get behind your team right now. They're going to need some help in map 2 of our best of 5 series.
Snipers were pulled out occasionally by Rise Nation. I wonder if we're going to see anyone looking for the picks across the mid-street. Meanwhile, you'll see a lot of open engagements over at the B-bomb site, and if you see nothing but SMGs coming in from the attacking team, expect a plant over at the A site. To open things up, we're on board with Aqua, who dropped the most kills in game number 1. He's putting the AR away, and he's starting things off with an ERAD.
With him having an ERAD, I'm expecting a 4-man hit from Rise Nation right now in towards this A site. We'll have to see exactly what they do, but here we go. Off the break, it is Rise Nation, and this round already looks like it might end very, very quick with the aggression that's coming out of Lethal Gaming. Aqua with the first challenge, gets first blood onto Human Jesus.
Human Jesus, a rough start to this series. He shut down immediately, but Clink is there to trade it out. Rise Nation, they pulled in a few players, but then started to rotate, and Looney is going to be outgunned 3-1 in that last fight. So all of a sudden, Lethal Gaming, they take away the first blood from Rise Nation. They score the next 2. They have the man advantage. They still have the bomb, and they can dictate where they're going to go on this map.
And Felony and Vicento kind of have a nice little cross-watched right now. Felony getting so much information. He just spotted someone in L-wall. Gonna try to trail the kill. He lost him, though. He lost him in towards you. Vicento still trying to stay alive. There you go. Doesn't get much easier than that. A 2 versus 1. Now a 1v1. Felony versus Clink.
And Clink with a big kill there. Challenges with half health, and Felony never saw it coming. Take a look at this. In the bottom left, you can see how much health he had. It was about 30%. And actually, in the round-ending kill cam, let's just keep our eyes on the bullets. Not missing a single shot there. Clink hitting all 4 to finish out the round.
That was a very competent re-challenge. I don't think Felony would ever expect him to come back up there, especially after he got the 1-shot call out from his teammate. Either way, though, Lethal, the overwhelm into A, winds up paying off right there, Puckett.
And Clink, he's starting things off 4-0. So keep your eyes on score streaks. If you play as aggressive as you have in the previous rounds, as we talk about this, Vicento did pick up the kill on a teammate, Looney. So man advantage once again to Lethal Gaming.
Clink trying to keep this going. Now 5-0, already 1 ace. There's the 6th kill. All right, Clink going big right now. Sorry, Fred, we didn't give you enough props to the ace in round 1. And the clutch finish there in the 1v1. Here, another kill cam for you now. As Lethal take a 2-0 round count lead, and it all starts there. Puckett with a team kill coming in. I believe that was Vicento.
Yeah, there was an ERAD spray in that tight hallway, and Vicento unfortunately just picked up Looney. So down a man early. That was Rise Nation kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Just 2 rounds. Clink already 6 kills. He's looking for the Trinity Rockets with 1 more.
Yep, and he's going to go ahead and try to get this bomb planted very quickly down towards this B site. Watch out for him to get aggressive towards this wall run. He needs some help from his teammates, though, before he can get this push down. And now that he has the AR watching over, everyone's here from Rise Nation. They need to stop this plant.
Clink knows the pressure's coming, and there's the kill. An assist away from Scorchers as well. And Clink is just dodging around, looking for the fight, is gonna fall. He probably should have waited for Hate and Human Jesus to push forward, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You still got those Trinity Rockets to work with later on as this game goes, and you just took a 3-0 lead.
I think that's a perfect example, right, of one of those challenges I was talking about earlier on, where he's having a fantastic map, but he kind of tunnel visions right there. Bait your teammates a little bit. Get that final streak on a map like Crusher. That then gives you the opportunity to push in towards A, and you can always retake or get a free plant down at B with those score streaks hovering over. Not the start you wanted, though, on the side of Rise Nation, as to be quite honest, they're getting smoked by one member of Lethal right now.
And I was giving Rise so much props for their S&D play, how they play it by the book, and they seem to make so few mistakes. Some early mistakes costing them big in this game. Felony not ready for the 1v1 challenge. Round 2, Facento shooting a teammate. This is where you got to start bringing it back. Looney gonna get out with his life after that initial engagement, is looking for first blood. He also has bomb in tow as he works his way into A.
Look at the minimap. You're seeing a lot of shoulder peeks from Lethal. They're just trying to get any information they can get to give them an advantage in this round. Now score streaks coming in. The Trinity Rocket not gonna connect. Aqua trying to dance around. It's hovering just above. Oh, gets away with his life. So that's one burn streak. An example of a moment that might come into play later on this game.
Aqua with a nice wiggle will finally be punished by Hate's Erad. So it's a 3-on-3, 33 seconds left in the round, and Rise just got the bomb down.
Yeah, they're gonna try to push right through this choke point, but everyone's here for the side of Lethal. 1 versus 1, Hate versus Felony. Felony gets away his position, spotted the player just in the side of his crate, but Hate clutches up with the headshot. Another example, Puckett, where these are the plays you have to make if you want to beat a team like Rise Nation and Search and Destroy.
Hate was about even in that hard point, and now he is going to clutch up the second 1v1 for Lethal Gaming. Felony 0-2 in those engagements so far, and it's the Erad that's making the difference here. Perfect shots both times. First it was Clink, and now it's Hate, hitting all 4 of the initial bullets.
And think, if those two 1v1s go the other way, we have ourselves a tied game instead. This one getting out of hand quick. Thankfully, if you're on the side of Rise Nation, the streak's gone from Clink, but he does have that reactive armor, and I think they're going to want to use it here to be able to push out the safe side.
Reactive can be devastating at short range. Human Jesus is going to find Felony, so
that's
a big
challenge.
Early pick. First blood going in favor of Lethal. Now a second shot from Hate. Aqua's there to trade out too, though. Clink finally shuts him down, and Clink has not taken any fire yet, but it comes down to another 1v1. This time, Facento representing Rise Nation.
And with Clink having reactive armor, you've got to think that this is his round to win. Yes, he has to plant the objective. He's been spotted by Facento. Pops a reactive. He's going to try to chase his kill. Facento using this close corner. He misses him. He doesn't spot him.
Like, check up top, bro. I'm hiding in the corner. Here's a look at Spider-Man. Bryce Facento.
I've died in this position so many times. He actually doesn't even use it, but there's a high wall run you can kind of slowly run on there. And if your opponent's not expecting you to be that high up, it can be deadly. There, Facento, a round where he's able to force his opponent to not only use a reactive armor, but then use it and still lose. So instead of it being what should be really 5-0 for Lethal, it's now 4-1 with Rise Nation back in this game.
So far, Clink, everything that he's earned has been burned.
Yeah.
The Trinity Rocket scored 0 kills. The payload doesn't earn him the 1v1 win, but they're still just 2 rounds away from tying up this series at 1 apiece. Lethal with the bomb. Moving into A, it's going to be a full rotation for the squad as it's Rise Nation going to be planting. Juju calls it out. And I thought we were going to see a full rotation here out of Lethal Gaming. Now they've doubled back, Jack.
Yeah, and Felony's going to be one leading the charge. When do you ever see this? They're hitting through this middle street area into L-Wall. Everyone here for Rise Nation. Felony with 2 already this round, as Hate has no idea what's going on, and I wouldn't either.
Clink, last man up in a 1v3, just like that. Rise finding all the kills as they collapse on their opponents. This is going to be so tough for Clink, and it's not going to happen this time. 4-2, Rise winning back-to-back rounds.
So that right there is an example, Puckett, of a round that we kind of mentioned yesterday when I brought up how obvious some of these rotations and uses of streaks now are in S&D. Teams are beginning to get used to it. So what do Rise Nation do? They push through A. What's the obvious thing you're going to do? Play for a plant and force your opponents to rotate from B. Well, instead, as they're rotating, they're all mid-sprint, and you've got Felony and crew 4-man hitting that L-wall area, getting free kills by shooting their opponents in the back. Mind games right there from Rise Nation as they're now back within 2 rounds.
Vicento shooting a teammate in the calf, but he's going to survive. This time it was Felony taking the shots. And you're going to see Aqua the long flank. He's put away the AR. He wants to get up close here with the SMG. Calls them all out. Felony deals with the first. Looney's going to find Human Jesus, so it's a 2-on-3. Rise, though, losing the man, will make it a 2-on-2. Vicento and Looney left alive.
And Juju is now in a great position to help watch this cross. Unfortunately, Hate gets caught jumping near that close box. This should be an easy trade. 1 versus 1, Juju versus Looney. Juju somehow in an absolutely winnable round. Looney with the high challenge, 1-on-1, not gonna happen. And
Juju
Looney
played that
cleans it
really
up.
well,
Yeah.
but props to Looney for getting aggressive. He doesn't shy away. He spots his opponent. He knows he's got one bullet in him. He's already a little bit weak, and Looney just pounces, going over the top, and is able to finish the kill.
Thankfully, the reason why Looney was able to re-challenge that quickly was because the second player challenging on that wall run didn't hit him with any hip fire shots, so his health was regenning a little bit quicker than his opponent. Looney, great job recognizing that, picking up on that timing window and challenging right away.
From 4-0 now to 4-3, Lethal Gaming falling apart here on Crusher. Rise Nation heating up. You got Felony at 7-7. He lost those early gunfights in the 1v1s, but he's been getting some nice first bloods. Vicento watching the flank, but here comes Juju and crew.
They never checked their back. Both Vicento and Felony were watching the same thing in middle, but it wasn't their back door where 3 players were hitting out. And Rise get punished right there from a quick first blood.
Search and destroy. You never know where your opponent's going to be. You can see how Rise Nation is checking every single angle. Human Jesus is going to find out where they're setting up camp, though. And it's going to be Felony around the corner. If Human Jesus gets this kill, he's going to see bombs down.
Yeah, Felony's got to back up. Good job making sure there's no trade possible. Aqua, though, with a quick kill on the hate, will make this a 3-on-3 again. Where's the rest of Lethal? They're not on the same page. 3 players are falling back. One's challenging middle map, and Aqua makes sure to pick up a kill.
Player number 1, Juju, is leading the charge, but at times when I'm watching him on the minimap, I'm like, if you get an engagement, there's no one there to trade. Rise running out of time. 17 seconds left. It only takes 5 to get that bomb down, and Felony will be throwing it in. Now the push, though. Juju gets in and gets out with his life.
We got the FTL jump earned, though, by Looney, as he can use this as a tool to challenge towards rocks, and that's exactly what he'll do.
Finds one.
Quick kill, the second is there as well. What is happening to Lethal Gaming? Everything worked in the first 4 rounds, and since then, it's been a completely different story.
I don't know if I go back to the B bomb site if I'm Lethal. Like, I'm just saying, all right, let's only sit in the middle of the map. Let's hide in A. That's where we can win our gunfights. Because that range, it seems they're getting picked apart. Even though they got first blood, Lethal Gaming 1 by 1 falling apart in round 8. Tie game, this is where you gotta turn up, and you gotta keep shutting down Aqua because he's working on his camo. Same thing can be said for Juju.
Felony keeps pushing towards you, and every single time the boys of Lethal are ready for it. Thankfully, now he's got some help. Vicento on the flank, Lethal about to be wiped off the map. It's Human Jesus by himself. He's dead. 5 rounds in a row for Rise.
Some rare missed shots from Vicento, but fortunately, he's got teammates to come in and clean it up. Here's a look at Felony. Hit by the jammer, running through it and cleaning up the kill on Human Jesus.
That could have been a very, very bad round for Rise, as Felony continues to be the solo player to push towards you on defense. And the boys of Lethal, they're pre-aiming it. Thankfully, because Felony needs to go back and help trade the kill onto Looney, he just immediately sprints back before he runs into the 2 ARs of Lethal who are ready for it.
Here's the action in the middle. Aqua's gonna finish the kill on Hate. Everybody firing at the same player, and it pays off here. Now you have a camo unlocked for Aqua, and this is going to be where Rise Nation shuts the door as long as they play this one smart.
Yeah, he's pushing right on through. Plant for that side. The Trinities will be covered. Well, that was not a smart challenge at all.
He was feeling it a little bit too much. You did see the missiles coming in, though, and that is going to give Looney's crew the advantage. Rise Nation up 3-2.
Felony with reactive armor, too. This is going to be a tough retake with the pinch coming in as well from Looney. Both players coming on through. Reactive armor pop for Felony. 2 versus 1. Juju all by himself. He's been spotted. 20 seconds left. This should be a quick cleanup for Rise Nation.
Rise Nation spots him. Felony is going to put in the final bullets. And Rise, after being down 4 rounds, rattle off 6 straight.
That was like they were just toying around, you know? They lost some 1v1s. Some streaks were earned by Clink. Some awkward rounds they weren't expecting, but they begin to reset. They have the smart shot call to push towards that middle L wall area to win that first round, and they really just ran away with it from there.
So you think about that game, and you said how it could have been a 2-2 if Felony would have won the 1v1s. Overall, though, as we break it down after all 10 rounds, what did you see from Rise Nation?
What I love to see from Rise Nation right there was For example, one, dodging some of those score streaks, making sure they really did come into play. Aqua making sure he didn't get picked off by that there. Another big thing as well, they were all on the same page. They knew where they wanted to push towards, and they executed as a team. There were some rounds where Lethal were just too far spread from each other for a trade. Either way, though, it's all Rise Nation in this series. Uplink coming up next. Will they get another sweep? We'll have to find out.
We are back, and we're about to witness a hot 3-0. I'm feeling it, Jack. Rise Nation, after being down 4 rounds, they rattle off 6 straight, and they now make a 2-0 lead coming into our Game 3.
Yeah, and with Uplink coming up next, the one recurring theme we've seen so far this weekend, especially with talking to the analysts, you can just tell this is the game mode where these open bracket teams struggle the most. When they begin to lose their setup, when they're caught in their base, they just can't seem to break out as easy as some of these other pro teams can. We'll have to see if that's the case here. I'm hoping for Lethal's sake they can bring it back, at least make it a close game before they have to drop into the losers bracket side of the championship bracket. They would be quite demoralized, I think, heading down there with a 1-12 map record.
I think that's what's going to happen, though. You look at that squad, and you saw them in the break. There's no smiles. There was even no communication. It's just a frustrated team that has no answer to what's happening to them in pool play. For Rise, though, I'm worried. If you had that big of a trouble against this team in Search and Destroy, you got to finish strong here. You got to go out with a big win. And my players to watch, it was Felony, who was looking really good early on in the Hardpoint. Aqua was the one who finished on top of the leaderboard. I think it's going to be that dynamic duo that are getting the kills, while it's Looney throwing in the objective scores.
Aqua's leaned back. He's just chilling right now in that chair. It's funny to see. Either way, though, Rise Nation, they know the spot that they have themselves in right now this weekend. They're fighting for a potential opportunity to, again, win another major open LAN event. The last time we really saw them perform big time was the CWL Paris Open. Prior to that, you got to go all the way back to the CWL Vegas Open, our first big event of this year. It's been interesting for Rise. They're still sticking together. It's got to come back, though, somewhere else. I wonder if there's a change before Stage 2 kicks off.
I don't think there is.
Okay.
I think this squad is sticking together. Roger Saffold, the owner, he likes his group. He likes Looney as kind of the captain of his squad, and he's got faith in his players. We've seen what they're capable of. They just took down the team that won Stage 1 2 weeks ago with a win last night. That was Splice. But then they fold against teams that you don't expect them to, like Enigma 6 getting blown out 3-0. I think that was the big shocker. They threw away their chance of making it to the winner's bracket, but I will not be surprised if we see Rise back in our top 8 as we finish this weekend.
All right, you heard it there from Bucket. Top 8 potentially for Rise Nation. We'll have to see how it all plays out. For now, though, it will be Throwback Uplink Game 3 in our final potential pool play map that we see on stream this weekend. As from here on out tonight, it starts off our championship winners bracket matches. Woo! The Bravo stream still going as well. Be sure to get 2 streams open as we get into Throwback Uplink here in Game 3.
Here we go, Lethal Gaming. They now need to win 3 straight games. Keep your eyes on Juju. He's been their lead slayer so far, and this match kicks off in 3, 2, 1. It's time to get into some uplink, and we're opening up things with Felony from Rise Nation.
Yeah, Felony with that K-bar. What a series he's had so far. He's gonna look to keep it going, and already Clink dead right off the break. The second kill for Felony, as it's gonna be a 2v2 opportunity in middle map as Aqua cleans up the rest. Rise Nation on the offensive.
Vicento on your screen already moving that drone. He's got a lead blocker. It's Aqua who's ahead of him. Unfortunately, the defense was set up in Grandma. So Vicento, he's got to get it done despite the jammers. Able to pick up 1 kill, and Felony's still trying to put on that pressure. The drone was pushed forward, so Felony knows just focus on the kills. My teammates will eventually pick that up.
Yep.
And if Felony keeps slaying like this is a 1-point play coming in.
Absolutely, that's a great way to put it, Chris, is they're gonna try to push towards this lemon lane. If they can get there, they can then use that high wall run in that background he's building and throw it off the wall right from here. There's the one. Drops
there it
right
is.
on in. Rise Nation score in the first minute.
Aqua's been practicing that shot, and it pays off. The NV4 in hand, Jack, and what are you looking at?
This is a perfect example of where I talk about the teams from the open bracket struggling to get a break from the setup that they are in. You can see Aqua doing what he can to get a score. Unfortunately for Rise Nation, they try to force the dunk. Don't think it's going to happen, no. Human Jesus does reset the drone. I think the big reason why they're able to get that stop, Chris, is because they had a split spawn. Players were spawning on up near that lemon side right there and were able to shoot the Rise Nation players in the back.
If you were watching the Rogue game, things kind of fell apart in Uplink when opponents got in their base. It just kept them on that spawn trap. Clink doing a nice job of trying to clear the base. The drone, though, is going to be moving up, and Clink is now behind enemy lines. Does he push forward and try and get the pinch in the middle of the map? He's got to be careful because there's a man hunting for him. It's Looney, who's about 20 steps behind.
Yeah, Clink still. He's now been spotted. 1 shot. They know Rise Nation as a pro team. We don't hear the communication right now, but for viewers at home, what's happening right there, why Rise Nation are so easily able to find him in middle map when they're not expecting someone to be there is because they're counting these players. They know, hey, 3 are dead right now. We're looking for Clink. We're looking for Clink. There he is. He's on their portal. Looney knows for sure I've got a dunk. Everyone else is coming back off spawn. It's all about calling where the opponents are, who they're looking for, where the hole currently is in the setup.
And Looney's going to get credit for the dunk, but big play there from Vicento. He's just going to push it in there. Players are looking at him. Looney grabs the drone off the ground after Vicento falls and is able to put back the score.
With 4 dead right there, they know, okay, they've got to be spawning blue. Aqua will be the first to charge forward. Let's just go for the 1. Now, Rise Nation's goal, get that player back towards Lemon, keep forcing the spawns out towards that top field side so they can keep the pressure going.
And even though they're spawning way back behind the statue, you saw player 7, Aqua, rotate all the way around from blue over to the left side of the map. Once they see that lane is cleared, they will push up. Clink and Hate, though, trying to lock down things on defense, and just like that, Aqua gets behind him, picks up both, finds a third, go for all 4 as Felony runs this one in. This should be a dunk. Aqua just cleaned house.
That is called lead blocking for your objective player right there. Doesn't get much better than that, Chris, as Aqua single-handedly wipes everyone from lethal off the map. It's just a highlight show right now for Rise Nation, as again, they are just completely outslaying their opponents. There's really no other way to put it.
And how good is Looney, man? I mean, we're talking about Aqua. He's more than double positive at 13 and 6. But Looney's just been so consistent for them throughout this whole weekend.
He needs to be. He needs to be, man. When Rise Nation struggle, it's when one of them are off. When they won Vegas, not only did they have an incredible performance from Vicento, but everyone was pulling their weight. They cannot afford to have someone fall behind. It's no secret. They are not Optic Gaming when it comes to slang. When you can have Karma, you know, maybe not having the best game with kills, or Crimsix not having the best game with kills. That's not the case for Rise Nation. They need all 4 players to go big, especially against the best teams in the world, if they want to take respawns off them.
Heat touching the drone for about 3 seconds, has to throw it down because all of his blockers have fallen, and now it's Looney scooping it up once again for Rise Nation. Everybody up, they're all surging forward. Looney's gonna wait for one player to lead underneath, but unfortunately, it's Juju in the hallway, so Looney has to go around, pops the overdrive. He's still got more juice in the tank, and he's able to double back and throw it in. What a juke.
Oh, beautiful play right there, and a lot of it is possible because of Aqua again. And now look at this from Vicento. He's making a statement here by bringing out the R3K. I think he's beginning to show exactly how he feels about Lethal's chances in this game 3. As again, the kill feed all red. Again, the drone in the hands of Rise Nation. And again, they're looking to put more points on the board.
And they can't feel like they need to try out new weapons here, but is this actually an opportunity for you to warm up with other weapons as this tournament goes on?
I wish.
Or is that just kind of an in-game trash talk move?
I wish that was the case, but right there, Vicento is saying, you are not good enough to beat me. I'm going to use a weapon that I've never used in competitive Call of Duty in Infinite Warfare. That's what Vicento's saying by pulling out that gun.
Felony is going to get the round-ending kill cam as we head into our second half. A massive comeback is going to be needed from this Lethal Gaming squad. There is a look at the squad. Juju talking over the strategies with Human Jesus. Human Jesus had a horrendous first game on Respawn. Now he is leading the squad with 12 kills. Everyone kind of upping the ante, but everyone is still negative. They need to pick up more kills here in the second half.
And we've seen some brief moments of brilliance from the side of Lethal Gaming so far in this series. Do not get me wrong, but overall right now, they know they're not probably playing up to their standards either. They're just being outplayed as a full lineup. Already, Rise Nation have pushed further up the map than Lethal Gaming did in the entirety of Side 1. They're looking to lay the hurt on again as Aqua's pushing forward. They're going to keep going for these scores.
Vicento using the burst fire weapon. It only takes 2, and he is going to help clear the way as the dunk goes through. Aqua with the dunk, the score 9-0, and Vicento is still bouncing around your base here with the R3K.
Yeah, some missed shots right there. You can tell how uncomfortable he really is with that weapon, but either way, though, 4 minutes remaining, it's still possible for Lethal to come back. They've got to get a rally going, though, and it starts with just get a point on the board. Just get 1 point on the board, give yourself some sort of momentum, reset the map, make this a 4-possession game.
And Looney is just continuing to nerd stomp. He's 24-12, most kills in the lobby. He and Aqua were about tied going into the half. Aqua now at 19-13, slowing down just a little bit. But Looney, he is keeping the foot on the gas pedal. Let's see how he's getting it done with the Z-Rad.
And this is an example of where he excels as a player with that, okay, I was gonna say with that submachine gun, but he's firing it like an NV4 right now from range. As he'll push right forward, dead again. Looney, as he mentioned, keeping the foot on the gas pedal. This is an example of that right now as he's high flying right above the boys of Lethal.
Looney finally going to be stopped after that 3-streak. Felony is going to be pushing in now to take over that position. And remind yourself, yeah, that position is inside Lethal's base. They're going to try and pick up the drone here. Felony does need to stop this. His teammate Looney, though, comes off spawn, picks up 2. Vicento is there. Maybe Felony could have just set up camp inside of Lethal's base.
So right there, Lethal gave themselves no exit. You saw them all just sprint right into Rise Nation, and it was because they knew Felony was trailing. So they either had to stop, kill Felony, and then not have to worry about getting flanked, or they just had to go and try to force a point to get through. At this point, Chris, when you're down by 9 with under 3 minutes left, I think the latter was the decision they went with. They tried to force it, not going to happen. Rise Nation were there ready.
Aqua's getting a little bit competitive. He meets Looney's streak with a 4-streak of his own. Looney hits the 30 bomb first. Aqua 6 kills behind. At this point, Jack, I'm really just looking at the internal battle between Rise Nation.
Yeah,
Every single attempt from Lethal Gaming has been stuffed. They have no answer for the firepower that is coming from our red team on the left of the stage.
You just mentioned it, Chris. No answer for the firepower between the Hardpoint and now this Uplink. It is a 63 kill difference between Rise Nation and that of Lethal. It tells the full story, and now it's just, again, waiting out that 2-minute clock. As this sums up the end of full play quite nicely for Rise Nation.
It's like anyone can come through the open bracket and become a champion. But there's a tough reality that sets in once you make it into pool play. You feel great about your performance against lower-seeded teams, but then you hit the top tier, the tier 2 teams that can simply crush you at any moment. Looney turning up the gas over a 2.0 KD, gets the pass back. He's going to reset the armor and surge forward. Here comes Looney. He's looking for another one-pointer, looking to make it a double-digit lead. Hate's going to stop him short.
Felony just keeps flanking. Like, this must be so frustrating. Now he's actually only hip firing, which is apparently a new meta that he's trying to develop right now.
Get some practice in.
Oh, reactive armor earned 2. Will they get a point? Yes, they will. 9-1 with 1 minute left.
All right, so you didn't get skunked. You got 1 on the board. Looney looking for the 40 bomb. He's 5 kills away on a 2, make it 3 streak. He finds a 3rd as Hate falls. The overdrive is popped. He's already scored 1 dunk with the overdrive. This time around, Clink is gonna find him on the move. 50 seconds left. Is Looney gonna get to 40 kills?
I'm gonna say yes. He's gonna get this first kill here on a Juju. And he's gonna go ahead, push forward, kill off Clink here, then a close range engagement.
He wins this.
Yep.
30% health. Challenges, not wrong.
Now he's got 1 around the corner. Looney, quick reaction time. Thank you, Juju. That was very nice of you.
All right, one more.
Clink, bye-bye.
Oh, not this time around. He's got 1 more try, potentially 4. 20 seconds left. And Looney is going to be coming off the spawn. Let's go back to him. Aqua trailing well behind now at 33 kills, turning up at the end of the game, just like
40.
Hardpoint. Over the 40, making 41 and counting. 7 seconds left.
Wow.
That is Looney. He is back and better than ever here in Anaheim as Rise Nation closes out the 3-0 sweep with a 9-1 victory on Throwback Uplink.
Looney's a man on a mission right now. Over double positive in that uplink. Rise Nation make it look easy right there as they sweep Lethal Gaming to close out pool play.
It's been a great weekend so far, Jack. We saw some early upsets. The pools got interesting. I know Rise has to be frustrated with their loss to Enigma 6, but overall, you got to be really proud of what you've accomplished up to this point. You beat Splice, the juggernaut in your group. You come back, you battle back on a Saturday.
Yep.
You have an impressive 3-0 victory here, and now you're going through that lower bracket, probably the loser's bracket in the championship matches, and they could do some damage. They could knock off any of the teams that fall early.
Oh, definitely. And right there, Rise Nation show their true potential. As you mentioned, this is a team that is absolutely capable. Don't forget, they've won a major event so far this year. Obviously, it happened back in 2016, but hey, it still happened during the Infinite Warfare season. A lot more Call of Duty to be played, folks. That is it for pool play with Rise Nation ending it with an exclamation mark. Boy, oh boy, do they make it look easy. Either way, though, from here on out, it's time for our championship bracket. The studio will update you where we stand everywhere in the tournament right after this quick break.